The Israel-Iran war is escalating and fast. And in the middle of it, you have Donald Trump's statements that he wants a real end to the war, not a ceasefire. Where is this heading then? So we have Yusuf Unjhawala to decode this particular issue. Yusuf Unjhawala is an academic. He is an adjunct scholar at Thakshashila Institution. He's a columnist and he's a defense analyst. Welcome, Yusuf Unjhawala, to the New Indian Express.
Yeah, thanks, Emil. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, let me start by asking you. Israel began the war with the stated intention of shutting down Iran's nuclear program. So the targets were underground bunkers, which they could never have reached. How justified was their reasoning then?
Right. So the strategic aims of Israel is what matters. They want to make sure Iran does not develop nuclear weapons. And the destruction of all its facilities is possibly, and I don't think it's a realistic aim. The aim is to make sure Iran does not acquire nuclear weapons. It can be done in multiple ways. One is it's attacking all its nuclear facilities, Natanz and some of the other ones, which Natanz is very key, and it has been able to hit it. And also there are reports that there is internal radiation. I think the IAEA has confirmed about this. Fordo remains one target for which it perhaps needs the American assistance with its massive ordnance penetrator, which is there. Which is the only one which can probably penetrate deep inside that facility and destroy it. What Israel also has done is it's targeted Iran's electricity around which supplies to these enrichment centers. And once the electricity goes, that also has an impact on the centrifuges, and it can destroy those centrifuges. Apart from that, what Israel has also done is target Iran's human resources. Iran's top nuclear scientists have been killed. At least 9 of them have been reportedly been killed. And obviously, if you don't have your top guys over there, it's going to set the program back till the next kind of leadership comes up. It's not to say that Iran will not have that kind of capability and number of people already on this program, but still, once the leadership goes, it has a demoralizing effect on the rest of it. So there are a number of things that they are doing. I don't think Israel probably had any realistic, chance of destroying militarily all the targets, nuclear installations in Iran.
Okay, so then how has the response from Iran has been so far? Like, have they done enough to rattle the Israelis? What is your reading?
I think what Iran has done is launched all the ballistic missiles, launch a lot of ballistic missiles that it has. It doesn't seem any kind of, it doesn't appear to have kind of intent. So what does its retaliation intent to achieve? It has been targeting a lot of residential areas, which kind of suggests that it's trying to get to the Israeli population, where it targets a lot of these residential buildings and see if it can get some casualties over there, which hurts the psyche of the Israeli people and their will to fight. I think this is what Iran has been doing. Apart from that, it has struck, say, Haifa. It has struck a refinery over there. And today they have struck, I think, an intense facility or probably headquarters in Israel. But largely, it has targeted a lot of these, residential areas. It is surprising that they have not gone after Israel's own nuclear facility, which is at Dimona. I've not heard about Iran targeting its air bases. We've not heard. We did that last year, if you remember, in the strike. When there was a skirmish the last year. So right now, I don't know. It's probably a lot of missiles being fired in anger, in retaliation. As the leader said, Israel will burn. So probably just trying to burn something, but I don't think they have enough of that capability. If it has fired 1,000 ballistic missiles, it's not with what purpose? What is the intent? If it's only to harm or kind of affect the morale of the Israelis, I think then it's asking. It's a retaliation in hope rather than any strategic objective.
So does it mean that Iran's capabilities of ballistic missile capabilities reduced drastically?
It does not mean its capability has reduced drastically. It just means that what are your intentions? Look, with and this is a good question, right? Because I think if you look at what Israel has done, it has used its air force to precisely target what it wanted to target, and it has achieved success. Netanyahu says Iran has, Iran is now like an open highway for its air force. It's striking at will. Whatever Israeli air force wants to strike, it is doing so. But Iran has to rely on these ballistic missiles. It's not as accurate as some of the other advanced missiles out in the world, but it obviously carries large warheads. It has been able to hit a lot of targets in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, but these a lot of residential targets. It's not going to degrade Israel's ability to fight, and that remains. And like Netanyahu said, they are striking at will. So it's not about Iran not having the ballistic missile capability. It has a lot of ballistic missiles, but to what extent it is going to help it win a war, I don't think so. I mean, even Trump has just recently said that we can't see Iran winning this war. And if you see the recent reports, it seems that Iran has been using the Arabs, to reach out to Trump and see if he can push Israel towards a ceasefire.
You recently wrote an opinion piece, an analytical piece rather, for the New Indian Express, detailing the impact of the Israel-Iran war. In that column, you mentioned that this war could push Iran closer towards the nuclear bomb rather than steering them away from it. So, can you please explain that your argument?
Uh, if the regime survives, there are a lot of question marks over it, right? Because there are other things, and probably we can discuss that going forward. But if the regime survives and it carries the strength as well in the eyes of the Iranian people, uh, then it's going to come to the conclusion that acquiring nuclear weapons is the only way it can survive and not suffer the kind of attack it has suffered again, especially if the US may want to get involved at some time in the future. So it's just like the North Korean mentality, right? North Koreans developed all these developed nuclear weapons so that it could deterred the US from coming to the aid of South Korea. The same applies even with Iran. It's surprising that after 20 years of or 25 years of pursuing nuclear weapons, Iran has not actually developed a nuclear bomb already. Um, Perhaps for reasons which is technological or decision making, um, but it has not. But going forward, if the regime, like I said, if the regime survives in its form as it is today, then it would come to the conclusion that developing and having an arsenal of nuclear weapons is required for the survival of the regime.
Okay.
It's paradoxical where Israel wants to stop Iran from acquiring, just pushes the regime into it. Because if you look at it this way, Iran was negotiating with the US, and now this war has happened. So one of the arguments can be, we were already talking with you guys. You attacked us, and now what do you want me to talk about? But that would also depend on how the war goes. We've already seen Iran has reached out to Trump and see if he can get a ceasefire. But I don't think it's going to change the inherent mindset of the regime to acquire nuclear weapons if it survives in the form it is today.
So you mentioned about the Iran-US nuclear talks. Do you think that Israel made a mistake by attacking Iran when the talks are going on?
For Israel, the IAEA report came out and it says Iran had 408 kilos of 60% enriched uranium. It also was pretty damning in which said that Iran was concealing a lot of things for a long time now, and it was not abiding by its obligations. That was probably the immediate justification for Israel to strike at Iran. And if you also see what has happened over the last 2 years since October 7, when Hamas attacked Israel, Israel managed to degrade Iran's proxies. Hamas has been degraded. Hezbollah in Lebanon has been degraded. So for Israel, it's probably the best time, was the best time. It would have considered that this is the best time for them to go after Iran, especially with Trump in power, who is pretty sympathetic and very friendly with Netanyahu. Although he has kept the U.S. out, he does not want to fight this war. But obviously, he has a backing, and he has a very uncompromising stance on this one, where he said that nothing short of Iran giving up its nuclear weapons in totality is going to work, and Iran has so far resisted that.
So you mean with the proxies being downgraded, Iran is at its weakest stage now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So then
And this is perhaps the shortcoming of Iran's strategic thinking. It probably invested too much in all these proxies rather than its own defense capabilities. It has practically no air force. It has some of the old U.S. supplied fighter jets from the 70s, before the Iranian Revolution stopped all arms supply. It has not got any of the latest weaponry, something which Israel has. It has been, like I said, Israel has been operating over Iran with impunity now. If imagine calling that we have an open highway, it shows the level of the degradation of Iranian air defenses that have taken place.
okay. So since you mentioned about the IAEA report, CNN is reporting that Iran was at least 3 years away from a nuclear bomb. They quoted the US intelligence sources. So this shoots Israel's rationale to initiate the attack to struts. So it also throws a big question mark on Trump's decisions to let Netanyahu have his way. So what do you think about it?
You know, this is a very difficult thing to judge. Actually, for 20 years now, people have been saying Iran is a few months away or a year away from acquiring nuclear bombs. But now with the IAEA report and the amount of 60% enriched uranium that has been found, 50% jump in a matter of in a short period of time, Iran not abiding by its obligations, then kind of puts doubts in the minds of people. And for Israel, Iran acquiring nuclear weapons is an existential threat. The rationale behind Israel behind Netanyahu's or Israel's thinking is that they have to preempt this. Now is a good time, like I mentioned. Everything is aligned with them to prosecute this war. So probably for them, this is the right timing. Not wait for another year or 2 years or 3 years.
So in that case, the war brings a lot of difficulties for the entire globe. So one big fear at the moment is that what it could do the Strait of Hormuz. So if it is blocked, shipments could be delayed up to 3 months is one reading. So can you describe the implications?
But 20% of the world's oil shipment passes through the Hormuz. I mean, the Qataris, supply a lot of gas. Those shipments can be held up. So obviously, it's going to have an impact. As it is, the global economy is a bit jittery with the tariff wars. So 20% of energy, getting impacted will have an impact on the global economy. Um, what is the what is the level to which Iran can stop or block the Hormuz remains to be seen. But if it does that, then regional actors will come into the picture because they will get impacted, and then you could probably see a more expanded war. At the moment, we are not seeing the signs of it, but it remains to be seen because the situation is developing very fast.
So what do you mean by a more expanded war? Can you just elaborate that?
You could potentially see the US getting involved because its allies are in the Gulf are going to get affected, especially if Iran was to target shipping, if it knocks off some of the oil tankers over there, then it is going to draw in other countries. The Houthis have been doing this in the Suez Canal. Um, and that's not good. It has impacted all the shipping. They're going all around the Cape of Good Hope. Uh, it has led to increased insurance costs. It has led to increased delivery times. Um, but there is no way around the Hormuz. I mean, for Suez Canal, you can go all around Africa and come, but for the Hormuz to be shut off, then there is nothing coming out from Persian Gulf. That is going to impact a lot of countries over there, and those are U.S. allies. And right now, they're showing a bit of understanding for Iran, all the Arab countries, but then could change if their economic interests are hurt.
Okay, so then US President Donald Trump has said that he wants to see a real end to the war, not just ceasefire. How can how will you read his statement? So does it mean that he will be helping Israel by deploying B-2 bombers, or will he give peace a chance?
It depends on what he means by real end. Is it a real end in terms of diplomacy or real end in terms of military means? So we don't know. And Trump can say anything. Trump has also said that you'll see what happens in a couple of days, things are not slowing down at all. And if you read this in context with what the Israeli ambassador to the US has said, where he said that on Thursday night and Friday things might happen which might make the beeper attack look like a walk in the park. So I don't know if we can read both of these statements together, because Israel does share a lot of information with the US, or US also has its own capability to see what the Israelis are doing. I don't know if these two statements are interlinked, but it's there, right? We don't know what would happen over the next 2 3 days, Thursday or Friday. So I don't know what Trump means when he says a real end. Is it real end diplomatically or real end militarily? Only he can say that.
So that means we have to wait for a couple of days to see what actually happens on the ground, isn't it?
Yes, and things are happening on the ground. Even the Iranians are attacking Israel. I mean, there have been attacks today on Tel Aviv. But what is it going to achieve with that? Israel, I think, is showing enough stomach to absorb all these strikes that are coming in. It has been able to intercept some of the missiles, if not all. But there are a lot of missiles that have got through. I mean, it's out there. The videos are evident. The destruction of all those buildings is there to see. To what extent Israel can absorb that, the population can absorb that, remains to be seen. But so far, it's holding. And like I said, Israel is striking Iran at will.
Can you explain to us the importance, the relevance of regime change in Iran at the moment, or what will happen in case of a regime change?
No, actually, the Israelis have been trying, kind of signaling that regime change was probably one of their objectives. The Prime Minister Netanyahu has on more than one occasion talked about, uh, uh, ask the Iranians, this is your best opportunity. Why don't you rise and overthrow this tyrannical regime? Um, if you see a very recent statement now today of the defense minister, and said that the Ayatollah could meet the same fate as Saddam Hussein. So we are getting clear signals from Israel that regime change is either by them or maybe indirectly, where the people of Iran, throw this regime out, is something which they are eyeing. However, if in case that Ayatollah is not killed and not and his second in command over there, whoever they are, the clerical hierarchy over there, are not taken out, I think there would still be the potential that the regime would be weakened. There are, well, it could be thrown out by the people, like I said, or maybe it'll double down and because it has been beaten, and it does not want to lose its grip on power, and it goes even harsher. Especially it would use all kinds of things that a lot of people are there who are supporting Israel, the Mossad agents, and they look kind of the paranoia that sets in, or probably it has already set in, and double down on its repression. Or what else is possible is that it could find a new way to stay in power but share the power. I know, give up on its harsh ways it has been ruling Iran since the revolution in 1979, and where the people now would enjoy greater freedoms. All these are possibilities, and this could happen if Iran is not able to show something substantial to its own people, because I think it would appear weak and ineffective, indecisive to its own people. And also with losing all these IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard leadership, its intelligence leadership, it's going to be very weakened.
Thank you, Yusuf Unjhawala, for your valuable insights and your time.
Thanks, Amir. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.